The stars looked beautiful from the observation deck of the Galactic Concordat Council station. Ambassador Marcus Webb stood there watching ships from 47 different species move through space, like a dance he did not understand yet. 3 months ago, humanity had finally created faster-than-light travel. 3 months ago, Earth sent its first message to the galaxy. Now Marcus was here, representing all of humanity in front of the most powerful alliance in known space. The meeting room was massive. Representatives from dozens of alien species sat in chairs designed for bodies that looked nothing like humans. Some had 6 legs. Others floated in tanks of liquid. A few were just clouds of gas held together by force fields. Marcus felt very small and very alone. The council leader was a Thranian named High Speaker Veloth. He looked like a tall insect covered in blue armor. His voice came through a translator device that made him sound friendly, but Marcus could see the concern in his large black eyes. "Welcome, Ambassador Webb," Veloth said. "We have reviewed your military specifications as required by Concordat law. We have some concerns about your newest warship design." Marcus pulled up the holographic display. The USS Valor appeared in the air between them, rotating slowly. She was beautiful. 2 kilometers of human engineering. The pride of Earth's solar defense fleet, what concerns? Marcus asked. A small alien that looked like a floating jellyfish spoke up. "Your armor plating is 5 times thicker than Concordat maximum standards. Your reactor produces 8 times more power than any ship its size should need. Your weapons are excessive." Marcus frowned. "I don't understand." "It's a warship. It's built to fight." No, another alien said. This one looked like a walking tree. "Ships are built to participate in war according to established protocols. Your ship is built to win at any cost. There is a difference. For 3,000 years, the galaxy had agreed on rules for war. Ships could only be certain sizes. Weapons could only be certain strengths. Armor could only be certain thicknesses. Everyone followed these rules. War was still terrible, but it was controlled, predictable, survivable. Humanity had not known about these rules. Earth had spent 10,000 years fighting itself. Every war taught humans to build better weapons, stronger armor, faster ships. When humans built the Valor, they built her to survive everything they could imagine. They built her to protect Earth from any threat. "We need you to redesign this ship," Veloth said carefully. "Follow our standards. Make it weaker. Make it fair." Marcus looked at the faces around the room. They were serious. They actually wanted humanity to make its only deep space warship worse. "No," Marcus said quietly. The room fell silent. "Ambassador Webb," Veloth said slowly, "this is not a request. This is Concordat law. All member species must follow the military conventions. If you refuse, there will be consequences." "Then we refuse," Marcus said. His hands were shaking, but his voice stayed steady. "Earth will not make its defenses weaker just to follow rules we never agreed to. The Valor stays exactly as she is." The council erupted. Aliens shouted in a dozen different languages. The translators struggled to keep up. Finally, Veloth raised a clawed hand for silence. "Then humanity will face sanctions, trade restrictions, travel bans, and if the Valor enters any Concordat space, it will be considered a threat." Marcus nodded. "I understand. We'll be leaving now." As Marcus walked out, he heard whispers behind him. The aliens were scared. They were scared of one human ship. Back on Earth, the news spread quickly. Humanity had been rejected by the galaxy. Some people were angry. Others were afraid. But the solar defense fleet kept working. The Valor was almost ready for her first real mission, a shakedown cruise through the outer solar system. Captain Elizabeth Chen was chosen to command her. Chen was 42 years old, a veteran of the Belt Wars where human corporations had fought over asteroid mining rights. She was smart, calm, and did not scare easily. "The aliens think we built a monster," her second officer said as they prepared for departure. Chen smiled. "We built a warship, a real one." What nobody knew was that a radical group called the Zelthian Supremacy had already made a decision. They believed humanity was too dangerous to leave alone. They believed the Valor needed to be destroyed before she became operational. They believed humans needed to be taught a lesson about galactic power. 12 Zelthian cruisers left their home system in secret. Their target was Jupiter. Their mission was simple: find the Valor during her shakedown cruise and destroy her, show humanity that the galaxy's rules existed for a reason. The Zelthian commander, Admiral Kraith, was confident. 12 cruisers against 1. The humans would not even have time to surrender. It would be quick, clean, a message that even primitive species could understand. He was wrong. The UESS Valor moved through space near Jupiter like a silver knife. Captain Chen sat in the command chair, watching the massive planet fill the viewing screens. They had been running tests for 6 hours. Every system was working perfectly. "Captain, we have contacts," the sensor officer called out. 12 ships just dropped out of FTL, distance 2 million kilometers. They're heading straight for us. Chen leaned forward. Identification? Zelthian Supremacy warships, cruiser class. They're broadcasting on all channels. The main screen flickered. Admiral Kraith appeared. He looked like a giant lizard wearing armor made of black metal. His yellow eyes stared at Chen with contempt. "Human vessel Valor, you are in violation of concordant military law. Power down your weapons and prepare to be destroyed. This is your only warning." Chen blinked. Did he just tell us to prepare to be destroyed after giving us a warning? Her tactical officer nodded. "I think it's a translation problem, ma'am." "Well, that's confusing," Chen said. Then she pressed the ship-wide intercom. "All hands, battle stations. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill." Alarms blared throughout the Valor. 2,000 crew members rushed to their positions. In engineering, the reactor output increased to combat levels. In the weapons bays, magnetic acceleration cannons powered up. Missile tubes loaded their deadly cargo. "Captain, they're firing warning shots," the tactical officer reported. "Plasma bolts. They'll pass about 50 kilometers ahead of us." Chen watched the blue streaks of energy flash past on the screen. "Are they actually expecting us to stop?" "I think so, ma'am. According to concordant protocols, we're supposed to power down shields and accept their judgment." "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard," Chen said. "Shields to maximum, load all weapons, prepare point defense grid." Admiral Kraith could not believe what he was seeing. The human ship was not following protocol. It was not powering down. It was doing the opposite. It was preparing to fight. "They don't understand," his first officer said. "They're primitives. They don't know how war works." "Then we'll teach them," Kraith said. "All ships, attack formation. Target their engines and weapons. Try not to kill too many. We want survivors to carry the message back to Earth." The 12 Zelthian cruisers spread out in a perfect tactical formation. They had done this hundreds of times in dozens of wars. 3 ships would draw the enemy's fire while the others attacked from the sides. It always worked. They fired their main plasma cannons. Bright blue energy lanced across space toward the Valor. According to all their calculations, the human shields would fail after 3 hits. Then the ship would be defenseless. The plasma hit the Valor's shields. Energy flared. The shields flickered. Then they held. The second volley hit. The shields held again. The third volley. Still holding. "Their shields are still at 97%, the Zelthian sensor officer reported. That's not possible." "Fire missiles," Kraith ordered. "Overwhelm their defenses." 200 missiles launched from the Zelthian fleet. They screamed through space at incredible speed. No ship could stop that many missiles. No point defense system was that good. Except humanity had spent 300 years building point defense systems to shoot down Earth's own hypersonic missiles. The Valor's point defense grid came alive. Thousands of small railguns tracked the incoming missiles. They fired in perfect synchronization. The missiles died, all of them. They exploded in brilliant flashes thousands of kilometers away from the Valor. Not one got through. On the Valor's bridge, Chen smiled. "Well, their missiles are slower than ours. That makes things easier. Tactical, return fire. Magnetic acceleration cannons target the lead cruiser." "Yes, ma'am, firing." The Valor's main guns were not energy weapons. They were railguns scaled up to ship size. They fired tungsten carbide slugs the size of cars at a fraction of the speed of light. Each slug carried more kinetic energy than a nuclear bomb. The first slug hit Admiral Kraith's flagship. It went through the shields like they were not there. It punched through the armor. It tore through 3 decks. The flagship's reactor destabilized. The ship exploded in a ball of white fire. Admiral Kraith died instantly, along with his entire crew of 400. He never understood what killed him. The weapon was too fast, too powerful. too different from everything he knew. Enemy flagship. Destroyed, the Valor's tactical officer reported calmly. Good, Chen said. Now let's finish this quickly. Launch missile pods. Full spread. Target all remaining vessels. The Valor carried missiles designed to destroy hardened military bunkers on Earth. Each warhead was a fusion bomb. The yield was considered excessive by Concordate standards. By human standards, they were standard anti-ship weapons. 300 missiles launched. They spread out in a pattern that gave the Zelthian ships no room to escape. The aliens tried to shoot them down, but their point defense was too slow. 47 minutes after the battle started, 3 more Zelthian cruisers were destroyed. Then 2 more. Then 4 more. The last 2 Zelthian ships tried to run. They turned and fired their FTL drives. But before they could jump, railgun slugs caught them. Both ships broke apart, spilling air and bodies into space. Chen looked at the tactical display. 12 red icons marked where the Zelthian fleet had been. Now there was nothing but debris. Damage report, she said quietly. Minor hull scoring on sections 7 and 12. We lost 3% of the point defense grid. 1 crew member injured, not serious. Shields back to full power. Chen nodded slowly. She felt sick. She had just killed thousands of people. But they had attacked first. They had come to destroy her ship, to kill her crew. Send a message to Earth, she said. Tell them what happened. And send a formal complaint to the Galactic Concordat about this unprovoked attack. Across the galaxy, automated sensors had watched the battle. The recordings were already spreading through Concordat space. Every species saw the same thing. 1 human ship had destroyed 12 of their cruisers in less than an hour. The humans had not just won. They had made it look easy. The galaxy was afraid. The emergency session of the Galactic Concordat Council was the largest gathering in 300 years. Every member species sent their representatives. The massive council chamber was completely full. Everyone wanted to see the recordings from Jupiter. High Speaker Veloth stood at the center of the chamber. He looked tired. The blue color of his armor seemed darker than before. He raised his clawed hand for silence. We will now review the battle data, he announced. The holographic display filled the entire chamber. Everyone watched as the Zelthian fleet approached the human ship. They watched as the Valor refused to power down. They watched as plasma cannons and missiles failed to damage it. They watched as the human ship fought back. What scared them most was not the power of human weapons. It was the efficiency. The Valor never wasted a shot. Its tactics were perfect. There was no honor in how it fought, no tradition. Just cold, calculated destruction designed to win as quickly as possible. When the recording ended, the chamber was silent. A military expert from the Threnian Republic spoke first. General Korvax was old and covered in scars from 19 different wars. He had never lost a battle. I have analyzed the human tactics, he said slowly. They fight like no species we have ever encountered. They do not try to disable their enemies. They do not try to minimize casualties. They try to win. Only to win. Every choice they make is about victory. They fight like animals, a Zelthian representative shouted. His voice was full of anger and grief. They murdered Admiral Kraith and thousands of our people. This cannot stand. Ambassador Marcus Webb stood up. Every alien eye turned to him. He felt their fear and anger pressing down on him like physical weight. Your ships attacked us, Marcus said firmly. The Valor was conducting a routine test flight. Your Admiral Kraith told us to prepare to be destroyed. What did you expect us to do? Just die quietly? You were supposed to follow protocol, Veloth said. Power down. Accept judgment. That is how civilized species behave. Marcus shook his head. That is how you get killed. Humanity learned a long time ago that the only way to survive is to be too dangerous to attack. We built the Valor to protect Earth. She did exactly what she was designed to do. And that is the problem, a small crystalline alien said. Her voice was like breaking glass. You designed a ship to kill. We designed our ships to fight wars that can be survived. Your philosophy is too dangerous for the galaxy. A merchant representative from the Velian Consortium raised a tentacle. Perhaps we are looking at this wrong. The humans clearly have superior military technology. We should be trading with them, not threatening them. Absolutely not, a military commander hissed. If human weapons spread through the galaxy, every war will become total war. Millions will die, planets will burn. We cannot allow this. The debate raged for hours. The pacifists wanted dialogue with humanity. The military factions wanted a preemptive strike before Earth could build more ships like the Valor. The merchants saw opportunities for profit. Nobody could agree. Finally, Veloth called for a vote. Resolution 4478 was presented to the Council. It would officially ban human-style warships. It would demand that Earth decommission the Valor and submit new designs that followed concordate standards. If humanity refused, they would face complete isolation from galactic civilization. The vote passed by a wide margin. Only the Threnian Republic and a few small species voted against it. Veloth turned to Marcus. Ambassador Webb, the Concordate has spoken. Humanity has 90 standard days to comply. After that, any human military vessel entering Concordate space will be considered an act of war. Marcus stood. I need to speak with my government, but I can tell you right now what they will say. Earth will never agree to make itself defenseless. Then there will be war, the Zelthian representative said coldly. Marcus walked out of the chamber with his head held high, but inside he was terrified. Earth had one warship. The Concordate had thousands. How could humanity possibly survive? Back on Earth, the news caused panic. People protested in the streets. Some demanded that the government comply with the Concordate. Others wanted Earth to fight. The Solar Defense Fleet went to maximum alert. President Sarah Martinez addressed the world from the United Earth Government Building. Citizens of Earth, she said. The Galactic Concordate has demanded that we destroy our only deep space warship. They want us to follow their rules. Rules designed to keep war predictable and controlled. But humanity did not survive 10,000 years of history by playing by other people's rules. We survived by being strong, by being smart, by refusing to be victims. She paused, looking directly into the camera. We will not destroy the Valor. We will not make our defenses weaker. Instead, we will build more ships. Stronger ships. We will show the galaxy that Earth is not afraid. We reject the Concordate's ultimatum completely. The crowd outside erupted in cheers and screams. Half the world celebrated. The other half prepared for war. In secret meeting rooms across Concordate space, military commanders made their own plans. They knew the politicians would talk and debate for months. But the commanders understood military reality. Humanity had to be stopped now before they could build more dreadnoughts. A coalition formed in the shadows. 7 species. 300 ships. They called themselves the Defense Initiative, but everyone else would call them the Rogue Fleet. Their plan was simple and brutal. They would bypass all the diplomatic channels. They would strike at Earth's colonies while the Valor was in the wrong part of space. They would teach humanity that numbers always beat technology. The target they chose was New Terra, humanity's first colony beyond the solar system. 200,000 civilians. Almost no military defenses. The perfect target to break human will. General Korvax heard about the plan through his intelligence network. He was horrified. This was not war. This was murder. He sent an encrypted message to Earth, warning them about the coming attack. The message arrived at Earth Defense Command at 0300 hours. Admiral Sarah Chen, Elizabeth Chen's older sister and the commander of the entire Solar Defense Fleet, read it twice. Then she started making calls. Earth had 3 dreadnoughts complete: Valor, Defiance, and Indomitable. It would have to be enough. She ordered all 3 ships to New Terra at maximum speed. The race had begun. The colony of New Terra looked beautiful from orbit. Green continents, blue oceans, white clouds. It looked almost exactly like Earth. That was why humans had chosen this planet. It felt like home. Governor Maria Santos stood in the colony's command center, staring at the sensor display with growing horror. 89 warships had just appeared at the edge of the system, the largest fleet ever assembled in Concordate history, and they were heading straight for New Terra. We don't have enough ships to fight them, her military advisor said. His voice was shaking. We have 3 patrol boats, glorified shuttles with missiles. Against 89 warships, Maria closed her eyes. 200,000 people lived on New Terra. Farmers, scientists, children. Families who had traveled 4 years through space to build a new world. Now they were going to die. When will the fleet arrive from Earth? She asked quietly. They're still 6 hours away. The alien fleet will reach us in 3. Maria nodded. Then we evacuate as many people as we can. Get them into the underground shelters. Maybe some will survive. Admiral Korvax commanded the rogue fleet from his flagship, the Eternal Justice. He was uncomfortable with this mission. Attacking defenseless civilians went against everything he believed in, but he had been ordered to participate. His government wanted to show solidarity with the other species. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the colony, his communications officer said. Governor Santos appeared on the screen. She looked tired and scared, but her voice was steady. This is Governor Maria Santos of New Terra Colony. We are a civilian settlement with no military forces. We have 200,000 people here, including 50,000 children. Whatever your dispute with Earth's government, these people had no part in it. Please don't do this, Korvax felt sick. He wanted to turn his ship around. But if he did, his own government would call him a traitor. The other commanders were watching him. Governor Santos, he said slowly, I am truly sorry. We will not harm your civilians, but we must blockade your planet until Earth agrees to follow concordant law. No ships in or out. We will allow supply deliveries, but nothing else. You have my word. Another admiral cut in. Commander Xyloth was a Zelthian. His species wanted revenge for the deaths at Jupiter. No negotiations. We will demonstrate what happens to species that defy the concordate. Prepare orbital bombardment. Stand down, Xyloth, Korvax said sharply. We agreed on a blockade, not genocide. You agreed to a blockade, Xyloth hissed. I agreed to teach these primitives a lesson. 30 ships follow me. We're going in. 30 ships broke from the main fleet. They accelerated toward New Terra. Korvax tried to order them back, but they ignored him. The fleet was fracturing. The plan was falling apart. Then new contacts appeared on every sensor in the system. 3 ships dropped out of FTL between the rogue fleet and New Terra. They were massive. 2 kilometers of human engineering and fury. The Valor, Defiance, and Indomitable had arrived. Captain Elizabeth Chen stood on the bridge of the Valor. She looked at the tactical display showing 89 enemy ships. The odds were impossible. 29-1. Any reasonable commander would retreat, but Elizabeth Chen did not command a reasonable ship. She commanded a warship built by a species that never learned how to lose gracefully. All ships, execute hellspread maneuver, she ordered calmly. Simultaneously, all 3 dreadnoughts launched every missile they carried, over 2,000 fusion-tipped warheads. They spread out in an expanding sphere of nuclear fire that filled space between the human ships and the rogue fleet. The alien fleet panicked. They had never seen anything like this. Missiles came from every direction at once. Their point defense systems were overwhelmed, ships scattered trying to avoid the deadly cloud. Split formation, Chen ordered. Maximum acceleration. Go through them. The 3 dreadnoughts separated and accelerated to speeds that made the alien commanders gasp in shock. Human ships could go faster than anything in concordate space. Human inertial dampeners could handle accelerations that would turn alien crews into paste against their walls. The Valor charged through the scattered alien formation like a shark through a school of fish. Her railguns fired continuously. Every shot killed a ship. Her point defense kept her safe from counterattacks. Behind her, ships exploded in brilliant flashes. The Defiance took the left flank. Captain Rodriguez was aggressive and fearless. His ship dove into the thickest part of the enemy formation. The aliens tried to surround him. That was a mistake. The Defiance's weapons fired in all directions. She was designed to fight while outnumbered. The Indomitable took the right flank. Captain Liu was cautious and precise. She picked her targets carefully. Every shot counted. Every missile hit exactly where it needed to. She fought like a surgeon with a scalpel. The battle became chaos. The alien fleet could not coordinate. They were too spread out, too confused, too scared. They had come expecting an easy victory against a defenseless colony. Instead, they found themselves in a fight for survival against 3 ships that refused to die. Commander Xyloth's attack group never reached New Terra. The Valor intercepted them. Chen showed no mercy. These ships had come to bomb civilians. She destroyed all 30 in 20 minutes. Xyloth's ship exploded last. He died screaming orders that nobody could follow. 6 hours into the battle, the Defiance took a critical hit. A lucky shot from a dying alien cruiser penetrated her shields and struck the main reactor. Captain Rodriguez ordered evacuation, but there was no time. The reactor went critical. This is Rodriguez to all ships, he said calmly over the radio. Defiance is lost. We're going to take as many of them with us as we can. Tell Earth we did our duty." The Defiance turned toward the densest cluster of enemy ships. She accelerated to ramming speed. The aliens tried to run, but Rodriguez had calculated their escape vectors perfectly. The Defiance exploded in the middle of the alien formation. The blast destroyed 6 more ships and damaged a dozen others. Chen felt tears on her face. Rodriguez had been her friend for 20 years. But there was no time to mourn. The battle was not over. The Indomitable suffered a reactor breach 2 hours later. Captain Liu was more fortunate. She had time to evacuate most of her crew. The ship drifted powerless but intact. The crew watched from escape pods as their ship slowly tumbled away. Now it was just the Valor against 42 enemy ships. Chen looked at her crew. They were exhausted, bleeding, scared, but not beaten. Never beaten. "Load our last missiles," she said quietly. "We're finishing this." The Valor charged forward one more time, her guns blazing, her crew fighting. By the time the sun set on New Terra that day, the battle was over. 67 alien ships destroyed. 22 had fled. The Valor remained, damaged, scarred, but undefeated. Admiral Korvax watched from his flagship as the human ship limped toward the colony. He had not fired a single shot. He had watched his carefully planned operation turn into a bloodbath. He had watched humans fight with a ferocity that terrified him. He opened a channel to the Valor. "Captain Chen, this is Admiral Korvax. I am withdrawing my forces. You have won." Chen appeared on his screen. She looked like she had aged 10 years in one day. "Get out of our system, Admiral. If I ever see you near a human colony again, I will kill you." Korvax believed her. He ordered his ships to retreat. As the last alien ship jumped to FTL, Maria Santos stood on the surface of New Terra and watched the Valor descend through the atmosphere. The massive ship landed near the capital city like a protective mountain. Her hull was scorched. Her armor was cracked. But she had saved them. The 200,000 colonists came out of their shelters. They looked up at the damaged warship and wept with relief and gratitude. Humanity had won again. But the cost was terrible. The Defiance was gone. The Indomitable was destroyed. And the galaxy was more afraid than ever. The defeat at New Terra sent shockwaves across the galaxy. For the first time in 3,000 years, the Galactic Concordat looked weak. Species that had always followed the rules started asking dangerous questions. If humans could fight like that, why should everyone else handicap their own militaries? The Concordat Council fell apart. Different factions formed, each with their own ideas about how to handle humanity. The Zelthian supremacy demanded total war. They wanted to glass Earth, to destroy every human colony, to eliminate the threat completely. They were terrified and angry. Fear made them dangerous. The Velian Merchants Guild wanted to trade with Earth. They saw profit in human technology. They secretly sent messages to Ambassador Webb, offering deals that would make both sides rich. The Threnian Republic began formal negotiations with humanity. General Korvax had written a detailed report about the battle at New Terra. He described human tactics, human weapons, human determination. He ended his report with a simple conclusion. Humanity cannot be defeated by conventional warfare. They must become allies instead of enemies. But while politicians talked and merchants made deals, military commanders across the galaxy made their own plans. 7 species formed a secret coalition. They called themselves the Emergency Defense Committee. Everyone else would call them traitors. They gathered 320 warships. It was the largest fleet in galactic history. Their plan was brutal and simple. They would strike Earth directly, bypass the colonies, destroy humanity's home world before more dreadnoughts could be built. On Earth, the solar defense fleet was exhausted. The Valor had returned from New Terra barely operational. The Defiance was gone. The Indomitable was destroyed. Earth had only 5 working dreadnoughts left. 2 were still in construction, barely combat ready. Admiral Sarah Chen looked at the intelligence reports with growing despair. 300 ships coming to Earth. Her fleet could not stop that many. Even if every human warship fought perfectly, they would be overwhelmed by numbers. Ambassador Marcus Webb sat in her office. They had known each other for years, friends who now faced impossible choices together. "We can evacuate some people," Marcus said quietly. "Get them to the colonies. Maybe 1 billion can escape before the fleet arrives, and leave 8 billion to die." Sarah shook her head. "No, there has to be another way. What way? We can't build more ships in time. We can't negotiate with people who want us dead. We can't run. What's left? Sarah was quiet for a long time. Then she pulled up a classified file. Project Peacemaker. It was proposed 6 months ago and rejected as too insane, too dangerous, too expensive. Marcus read the file. His face went pale. You want to build a ship that can kill stars? Sarah, this is crazy. Even for us. It's the only weapon the galaxy has never seen, the only thing that might make them stop. We build the Peacemaker. We demonstrate it. We show them that attacking Earth would be suicide. It will take months to build. We don't have months, we have 6 weeks. That's when the rogue fleet will arrive. We work around the clock. We strip parts from other ships. We use every resource Earth has, and we pray we finish in time. The order went out across Earth. Every orbital shipyard started working on the Peacemaker. 50,000 engineers, 1 million workers. The entire human race watched the construction on live video feeds. The ship was enormous. 5 kilometers long, more space station than warship. At its core was the most insane weapon humanity had ever designed. A directed stellar mass ejection cannon. It would use massive magnetic fields to pull material from the sun itself, then fire it at near light speed. The physics were terrifying. The energy requirements were impossible. But humanity had learned long ago that impossible just meant nobody had tried hard enough yet. 12 fusion reactors powered the weapon. Each reactor could power a small city. Together, they produced more energy than most stars. The magnetic coils were the largest ever built. They could contain and direct plasma at temperatures hotter than the core of the sun. With 48 hours until the rogue fleet arrived, the Peacemaker was still not finished. Workers installed the last reactor while the ship was already powering up. Engineers tested systems that had never been tested before. Everyone knew that if anything went wrong, the weapon could destroy Earth instead of saving it. Captain Chen transferred from the Valor to command the Peacemaker. She walked through the massive ship, looking at the weapon that might save humanity or doom it. The engineers looked exhausted. Many had not slept in days. Will it work? She asked the chief engineer. Honestly? I have no idea. The math says yes. The simulations say yes. But we've never actually tested it. We don't know if it will fire correctly. We don't know if it will destroy the ship. We don't know if we can even aim it accurately. Chen nodded. So it's a normal Tuesday for humanity. Good. Let's see if this thing can actually save us. With 24 hours left, the rogue fleet detected the Peacemaker on their sensors. They saw its size and laughed. The humans had built a space station and called it a warship. It would be easy to destroy. The fleet commander was a Krillian named War Master Thex. He had fought in 30 wars and won them all. He looked at the tactical display showing Earth's defenses. 7 human dreadnoughts, 43 smaller cruisers, and 1 ridiculous oversized target. This will be easier than we thought, he told his officers. The humans wasted their resources building that monstrosity. It probably can't even move properly. We'll destroy it first, then deal with their real warships. The rogue fleet dropped out of FTL at the edge of the solar system. 320 ships, the largest invasion force in galactic history. They broadcast their ultimatum across all channels. Humans of Earth, you have defied the Concordat for the last time. Surrender immediately or we will destroy your world. You have 1 hour. Earth's response came from Admiral Sarah Chen. Unknown fleet, you are in violation of solar system sovereignty. Leave immediately or face destruction. The aliens laughed. Humans threatening them with what? 7 ships against 300? They did not laugh for long. The Peacemaker powered up. Energy readings spiked across every sensor in the system. The massive ship turned slowly, pointing its weapon not at the rogue fleet but at a small uninhabited dwarf planet 2 astronomical units behind them. What are they doing? War Master Thex asked nervously. His sensor officer's voice was shaking. Unknown, sir. But energy readings are off the scale. That ship is producing more power than I've ever seen. Captain Chen gave the order. Fire. The Peacemaker fired. A stream of solar plasma erupted from the Peacemaker. It was not a beam of energy. It was actual matter from the sun itself, accelerated to 80% of light speed by magnetic fields stronger than anything nature had ever created. The stream was coherent, focused, devastating. The dwarf planet was named Kepler 442. It was small, rocky, and completely lifeless. It had existed for 4 billion years, orbiting quietly in the darkness of space. In 3 seconds, it ceased to exist. The stellar plasma hit the planet at 800 million meters per second. The temperature was 15 million degrees. The kinetic energy was beyond calculation. The planet did not explode. It did not shatter. It simply vanished. One moment it was there. The next moment there was only an expanding cloud of ionized atoms that glowed brighter than a small star. Every sensor in the rogue fleet registered the destruction. Every captain watched in disbelief. Every crew member felt their courage evaporate like water on a hot surface. War Master Thex stood frozen on his command deck. His translator struggled to convert his thoughts into words. Finally, he managed to speak. What was that? His science officer was checking and rechecking the readings. They fired stellar plasma at near light speed. The energy output was equivalent to a small supernova. That weapon could destroy a star system. They destroyed a planet to make a point, another officer whispered. The Peacemaker slowly rotated. Its massive barrel pointed away from the dead planet and toward the rogue fleet. The meaning was clear, simple, terrifying. Next time, it would not fire at an empty rock. Captain Chen broadcast on all frequencies. Her voice was calm, steady, and completely serious. Unknown fleet. The Peacemaker has enough power for 12 more shots. We can destroy 12 of your ships with each firing, or we can target your home systems. Your choice. You have 30 seconds to begin retreat. The silence lasted exactly 5 seconds. Then ships began jumping to FTL. Not in formation, not with coordination. In pure panic, captains fled without waiting for orders. Entire squadrons vanished as their commanders chose survival over pride. Some ships collided during the hasty retreat. Their FTL fields intersected and both vessels were torn apart by dimensional forces. Others crashed into each other trying to be the first to escape. The organized fleet became a mob of terrified refugees running from a nightmare. In 4 minutes, the entire rogue fleet was gone. 320 warships, the largest military force ever assembled. They ran from one human ship that had fired exactly once. War Master Thex was the last to leave. He stared at Earth on his display. He had come to destroy humanity. Instead, he had learned fear, real fear, the kind that made warriors into cowards. Get us out of here, he ordered quietly. His ship jumped to FTL, leaving the solar system behind forever. On Earth, 9 billion people watched the sky and cheered. They had been saved, not by politicians or diplomats, but by a weapon so terrifying that the galaxy itself had flinched. 3 months later, the Galactic Concordat Council held another emergency session. But this time, everything was different. The chamber was full, but the atmosphere was not hostile. It was respectful, careful, afraid. High Speaker Veloth stood at the center. He looked older now. The past months had been hard on everyone. We are here to discuss the Treaty of Sol, a new agreement between the Concordat and humanity. Ambassador Marcus Webb stood before the council again. But this time, nobody demanded that he make Earth weaker. Nobody threatened sanctions. Nobody laughed at human ships. The treaty was simple and clear. Humanity would be recognized as a sovereign power outside Concordat military restrictions. Earth would limit dreadnought production to defensive forces only. The Peacemaker would be officially decommissioned, though everyone knew it could be reactivated if needed. Human military advisors would help reform Concordat warfare doctrines to be more effective, and humanity would receive a permanent seat on the Concordat Council. The vote was nearly unanimous. Only the Zelthian supremacy voted against it. Everyone else chose peace over pride. After the vote, General Korvax approached Marcus privately. The old Threnian warrior looked thoughtful. You know what frightens me most about your species? The weapons? Marcus asked. No, it's that you never wanted any of this. You didn't build the valor to conquer us. You built it to protect yourselves. You didn't build the Peacemaker to threaten us. You built it because we threatened you first. You are the most dangerous species in the galaxy, and all you want is to be left alone. Marcus smiled sadly. That's the lesson humanity learned the hard way, General. The best way to keep peace is to be too dangerous to attack. If we were weak, the rogue fleet would have destroyed Earth. Because we were strong, they ran. That's not just our philosophy. It's our survival strategy. Korvax nodded slowly. Then perhaps the Concordat needs to learn from you. We spent 3,000 years making war survivable, but we forgot to make peace sustainable. Your way is brutal, frightening, but it works. It works because nobody wants to test it, Marcus said. That's the whole point. 6 months later, construction began on a joint human-Thrinian research station. The two species would work together on new technologies, share information, build trust. It was the first real cooperation between humanity and the galaxy. Admiral Elizabeth Chen became humanity's first Concordat defense coordinator. She gave her inaugural speech from the council chamber, transmitted across the entire galaxy. Many of you fear humanity. You fear our weapons, our tactics, our determination. I understand that fear. But I want you to understand us. We didn't build the valor to conquer you. We built it. Because we've learned the hard way that the universe is dangerous. Peace is not maintained by weakness or good intentions. Peace is preserved by those too strong to be worth attacking. She paused, looking at the cameras. Humanity extends the hand of friendship to all species who want peace. We will share our knowledge, help defend against real threats, work together for a better future. But to those who mistake our desire for peace as weakness, I say this: do not test us. We did not survive 10,000 years of warfare by being easy to kill. The speech was controversial. Some species loved it, others hated it. But everyone respected it, because everyone had seen what happened to those who attacked humanity. The UESS Valor remained in service. She was no longer alone. 5 more dreadnoughts joined her. Together they patrolled human space, protecting Earth's growing network of colonies. They never started fights, but they always finished them. The Peacemaker was officially decommissioned and moved to a classified location, but its construction blueprints were stored in secure archives across human space. Everyone knew it could be rebuilt if necessary. That knowledge alone prevented wars. Other species began studying human military philosophy. Some adopted human tactics. Others strengthened their own defenses using human engineering principles. The galaxy was learning that survival required strength, not just rules. Years passed. Human colonies spread across dozens of systems. Trade with alien species flourished. Cultural exchanges happened. Friendships formed. The fear slowly transformed into respect, and respect gradually became cooperation. But humanity never forgot the lessons of those early days. Every human warship carried the same principle etched into its hull in letters large enough to read from space. If you want peace, be too dangerous to fight. The Valor became a legend. Children across the galaxy heard stories about the Human Battleship so powerful that the entire Concordat tried to ban it. Some stories were exaggerated. Others were completely true. All of them ended the same way. Humanity had entered the galactic community as an outsider, rejected for being too dangerous. They had fought wars they never wanted. They had built weapons that terrified even themselves. They had demonstrated power that made the galaxy tremble, and through it all they had only wanted one thing: to survive in a dangerous universe. The galaxy learned to respect that, because humanity had proven a simple truth that every warrior eventually learns. The best way to avoid war is to win every battle so decisively that nobody dares to start the next one.